Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is August 15, 2022. Howard, what's going on? What's new?
People are yelling at me. That's a good sign.
I'm yelling at you?
No, not you. People on the internet have been yelling.
Oh, on the internet.
Tensions are high.
Interesting, because it's a slow summer, so no reason for that.
I just think, when I was telling people, when people get mad at me, it's generally over like a stock. Like it's over like behavior, social behavior on the internet. It's like they're mad about a stock, or they're mad at like people are bots or spam, or it's just people complaining because their stock is down, and it's not their fault. It's somebody else's fault. I mean, you don't have that emotion. You've taken that out of your investing. I deal with the 99% on the internet, stock twits and FinTwit, where everybody's never been wrong. It's the Fed's fault. It's Chamath's fault. It's CEO's fault. It's never like the stock's down and maybe I should just have better risk management. You live in a different world than most.
Okay, then let's talk about the stock market then. I think we continue to see a relentless market. The dips keep getting bought no matter the news. And
I mean, zoom out a little, but yes, for the last 2 months.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. I'm talking about the past month and a half, the past 2 months. Every little dip is being bought in the indices. I mean, we have the small caps back above their 200-day.
So are they the first, or do the S&P get? That's today. Okay,
they are the first.
We talked a couple of weeks ago about biotechs. They were the first to get back above.
Yeah, I mean, they're approaching potential resistance here near 206, but definitely for the first time since last year, November, they're above the 50 and 200-day. So I mean, that's something.
There are tons of capital on this. Index is getting above the 200-day. They will blindly, mechanically get long.
Yeah, it's just the small cap so far. S&P is almost there.
Yeah,
literally less than 1%, and obviously the Qs are right behind. So definitely we saw that 15 to 25% rally in the indices in the past couple of months. More importantly, what I'm noticing is that for the first time in a while, I see so many stocks that missed earnings or guide lower, and that they would gap down and they would just fully recover a few days later. Like so many of them, like major names like Illumina, missed earnings last week, gap down. 2 days later, they're back to even.
Yeah, NVIDIA, same thing happened with NVIDIA. That's what I'm watching.
NVIDIA, MU, so many of them in so many different groups that would have horrible earnings reports, and then they would not sell off. This is a bullish sign. So I mean, we can talk about that this is still a bear market rally, but as of right now, it's anyone's guess how long it's going to last. And yes, the indices are approaching potential resistance, but we're not really seeing any distribution days yet. Dips are getting bought. So for the most part, stocks are acting constructively. Obviously, this could change in a few days, but it's not going to change overnight. We need to see more selling, which we're not so far. This is what's going on currently. The indices continue to go higher. I mean, obviously, I would be careful chasing here, especially stocks that are up several days in a row. You still need to find the proper entry spot for many names, but we're seeing more and more stocks acting constructively. Apple is like 5% from its all-time high, working on a new base here. And we're seeing a lot of, not a lot, but some new potential leaders. They're working on new bases in different areas, obviously biotech, some semiconductors, clean energy, the big one after the new climate bill went through.
They weren't rallying, but they're rallying. They continue to rally after the news. We talked about this 2 weeks. I'm looking at some ideas that we talked about 2 weeks ago, and they're actually continuation.
I mean, look at the volume here.
Yeah.
It's been up
Let's go to the weekly and the monthly again, Ivan.
almost every single day on big volume. This is
Yeah.
institutional
This has
accumulation.
been a perennial break your heart for me.
So
You know, what's the monthly look like?
this is not gonna. This means that the dips here are gonna get bought.
Yeah, boy, this is one that you can both chase if you use position managing, right? I'm not that guy because I don't know the company well enough, but this is teed up to be a massive winner if this market firms up. And if this deal, again, a lot of people are reading into this climate deal, but it all makes sense to us that solar and chips and panels and clean energy. This is super interesting. What other?
I mean, in the
energy
same
do you
space, you have ENPH. This is the big leader.
You got two in that space. Yeah.
Big breakout and going sideways the past few weeks.
This is a Chinese company, though. I think it's headquartered.
No, it's not. ENPH is not, as far as I know.
Oh, Fremont, California. Okay.
Yeah. So the Chinese ones are like DQ, also kind of looping JKS and CSIQ.
That is a strong ass sector.
Yeah, but definitely a lot of money has been accumulated into this sector, this group.
Well, that's a good sign. I mean, I don't think solar can power like everything that oil does, but that's a good sign that money is finding its way to the edges here. That means a lot of startup money will start getting focused in this sector.
Yeah, money is getting put to work. This is important because at some point it will create fear of missing out. Because a lot of institutions, managers are underinvested. So as the indices continue to climb higher, people have to put some money to work. And maybe this is why we're seeing names like Apple's being back near all-time highs, because it's kind of the safest and the fastest, most liquid way to get back into the market.
Yeah, and as I said, like Buffett got that right in terms of like crypto. Apple's going to figure out crypto when it gets there at this point, like because the world wants regulation, and who has the biggest wallet? Apple and Google and Goldman, and so it's like the safest play to play future tech too, because it just, how do you beat them? Like crypto could be their next smartphone. Like if it's going to be big enough, Apple's the leader there.
And obviously Tesla back above its 200-day continues to act constructively here, potentially setting up again a big clean energy play. I mean, they owe a solar company, a battery company, obviously EV company. So one of the leaders.
Yeah, and then let's look at like the Tesla competitors. Like I see all this complaining. Let's take a look at like some of the
some of the competitors. So Rivian is one of them. I mean, everyone is a competitor nowadays. Okay, one second.
But you know what I mean. Like now we're gonna see.
Yeah, I mean they're just
spark of little. I'm looking at this one that I get complaints about all day on stock. It's RIDE, RIDE.
Oh, okay.
Whiny. I mean, is that it?
Yeah, I mean that's right. I don't know.
But let's just go look at a monthly here. It's just like these people. Everybody wants to gamble still. So you know, it's setting up. I guess it got as low as
140 or something like this.
Yeah. So again, like now everybody sold indiscriminately everything. Right. And it doesn't feel like, because we didn't really get a nasty, you didn't get a 40% drawdown in the S&P. But we also aren't in the great financial crisis. So we're in this. There is some green shoots, as we started talking about 2 weeks ago. There is this chance. I'm still skeptical only because, but I'm old. I get to be skeptical. Young people can't go live their life being bearish. It just doesn't pay if you live in the United States. But I have the luxury of being late to things now because I don't have to make every nickel. But I think you're right. There are some really good green shoots. And mathematically, once you get above the 200-day, which I've been waiting for, like money just flows in. And, you know, the first pullback becomes the real test. There is going to be a pullback. Could come from 20% higher. It could come right tomorrow. We'll learn a lot more from this next pullback because we'll see how, you know, It'll truly scare some weak hands out this next pullback. All the money that's kind of like creeping back in here, but not sure. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to, I have to say that like, there are some good green shoots on the macro side though. We have to be honest that like inflation's still 8.5%, may have slowed down, and rates are just 2. So there is a mismatch of where the Fed is. And so I mean, this doesn't excite me, seeing rates still kind of creeping higher and trending higher. I mean,
Yeah.
still look at this. I still look at the dollar. Where's the dollar? US dollar. It's starting to reverse. Oh, but then today, I mean, it just feels like
Back higher, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like the next big trade is down. But again, I'm not playing that. It just feels like from the chatter and the sentiment and the fact of the macro and the valuations, but I hope I'm wrong. This continues to be like, I hope I'm, 2020 was a true panic. This was more like a wake up. And if that's all the wake up was, that ARK got beat up and a few crossover funds, I don't think, and a few SPACs got beaten up, then we didn't learn much from this bear market,
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it makes sense. Interest rates definitely have started to go up a little bit. This is DOT, the Treasury, so interest rates are the opposite of treasuries.
well, and it's not that they're going up, Ivan. It's just that they're like, that was such a big move of such a low base. And it's sticking this time, right? If we go to the monthly, it's like, the last 20 years, those things quickly reverted back to trend. And this time, I don't know, is that the monthly, Ivan?
Yeah.
Look how long we've stayed now below. It's severely below. I would have, like, if we can get back above 120, I'm going to start getting super bullish, on this. If we can retain, right now it still feels like summer and people can whip the stocks they want around. But I think the real next move is hidden in rates somewhere. So I'm hoping rates implode and drop and inflation drops, but I still need to see more signal. I'm long enough, June was a good time in hindsight to add some exposure. Is mid-August? I'm not sure. But it's good find on the, how did the biotechs, I mean, they hit the 200-day, did they keep going?
Yeah, definitely. They're kind of setting up above the
setting
200-day. So
yeah. So if the S&P did the same, you got to be ready. Like if the S&P reclaims and then sets up. So this is why this has been an important week, and a lot of stuff. Like there's been a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I missed the rally." Yeah, I missed the rally. Shopify's still 40, Zoom's still 113. It's not like every stock is running. Netflix is still 250. Disney's still 120. If there is a bull market ahead, there's a lot of room.
Yeah, definitely. There'll be plenty of opportunities, but definitely we're seeing money, capital getting put to work. I mean, even here, look at Disney, look at these huge volume bars.
A lot of people were just leaning on Disney, just like they can't execute. So again, now this next phase, can it go from 120 to 160? There's a lot more work there than just bouncing off the bottom and bad sentiment. And, you know what I mean? But if rates continue to stay up here and creep higher, this whole thing you're going to be sorry you didn't sell this rally. Because it all comes down to competitions for dollars. And those first dollars are lost. That first part of the bear market, the losses are the losses, if there's a next phase down, people will be into preservation of capital and there'll be real selling.
Yeah, but this is institutions have to worry about that because they're slow movers.
Yeah.
Retail investors, retail traders, you can be in and out, in minutes.
But we know they don't. They get stuck holding things.
Yeah.
We know they don't, Ivan. It sounds good on paper, but there's very few people like you who can just put on 10 positions and take them off an hour later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So So you're talking, I'm trying to give it like a more balanced use. It's very hard to put on new positions and teach and tell yourself, you know, if it's the S&P reverse, I'm going to take them all off. You know, and let's be honest, semiconductors, like you're showing here, and you know, crypto, like some really edge case semiconductors, crypto, brokerage, the Qs, they're all below the, you know, the software index are all well below the 200-day moving average still.
Yeah.
And which is fine, like there should be new leadership, but tech is really important. And you know, you want to see kind of some strength there. Anyways, how are you positioned? I haven't really added
I
anything
continue to
yet.
be nimble. I mean, I hold some positions overnight, just smaller positions, 5 up to 10% positions, but continue to keep a large cash position overnight, and I just trade it. Like I'm still nimble. I still believe this is a bear market rally, but you know, I could be wrong. So
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to find some other stuff that seemed interesting to me.
yeah, I mean, as I'm showing you lithium here, like anything related to clean energy, it's not just solar and electric vehicle.
Where's lithium? Is that ALB?
This is one of the lithium stocks.
And what's LIT?
LIT is an ETF.
Yep.
So definitely been on the move.
Yep.
So anything related
over my pay grade, I don't know the mechanics
related
of
to
how
this
these companies work, but that's great.
Yeah.
You know, I'm out of the market here because I don't have the mechanics. So, you know, I can't. But yeah, there is leadership. So that's interesting. There is leadership.
Yeah, definitely. It's just clean energy so far.
How are the ags? Anything on the ag or commodities? No.
I mean, it depends on your time frame, I guess.
Yeah.
Some of them are looking better, like CF is not looking bad here. It's working on a new base. The rest, not so much.
Okay, and then a couple other things I'm seeing. I'm just looking through Charlie's stuff. Hang on. Looking at a couple charts that might be. You know, the VIX is back below 20, which is great.
Yeah.
And I think that the other big thing coming into a new bull market, if we're headed there, is that like this is still dominated by FANG, right? Like, is that good or is that bad, right? Like maybe this is just the only safe bets coming out of this thing, at least in the public markets in tech, are just FANG because they're so big and they survived.
Yeah.
You know, and you get lucky with owning FANG and swapping out one or two of them. You swap out Facebook and Netflix for a couple flyers, but I think the market's saying Microsoft, Apple, Amazon are the true, and probably Google are like the four that you have to have in the portfolio, and that it's now a mix. Whoever gets the mix right after that are going to be the winners. And so
Tesla too, maybe those 5. Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay, but yeah, we've never been in this kind of position where like a bear market, the nifty 6 that went in, there's a nifty 4 that comes out of them, you know. And really fascinating. Anyways, we'll see everybody next week. I think it is a kind of an important week, like month here ahead, because
every month is important. Like
it's important, but people are coming back to work seasonally. This has just been generally a weak time. The numbers aren't great. Like, where's the growth going to come from at some point? We've got to have growth, and you can have, you know, solar it's exciting to see solar, but can it fund all this capital on the sidelines? No, it's still very niche.
Yeah, it's a small group.
Yeah, it's a small group. So, but it is nice to see money being put to work, and they're not being scared out of the FANG. And those are the U.S. economy at many levels: Microsoft, Apple, you know, Amazon. So, pretty interesting. All right, everybody, have a great week. Ivan, thanks for
doing it. All right, Howard. All right.